Good morning, my name is Sasha Smith. I'm a YA here at GCC. Growing up as a young man in a family that heavily relied on God, I always felt like I was left out. Going to church was never really a choice. My grandmother and mother always made sure that we were there on time every Sunday. I remember just waking up early in the morning, about 7 a.m., and not getting home till dark. Just enough time to watch The Simpsons and then go to sleep. The type of church I grew up in was very animated. People would catch the Holy Ghost, they called it, running up and down the aisles, and I would always just sit in my seat looking around like, what about me, you know? I never got that feeling. In my preteens and mid-teens, I experienced a lot of death to close friends, and a vicious death to my football coach's daughter, to which I was a pallbearer at. She was only about 8 years old. These events made me question and distance myself from God. Prior to going into college was the death of my grandmother. And once I had the choice to go to church, once I got to college, I never stepped foot in church. I always had two questions that really kept me from, seeking God. And one was, why have I never felt God's presence? And the other was, why is it that always when people are down and out that they find, they find God? Those kept me. About 2010, I moved to Philadelphia, and about a year later, I met my now wife, Enyo, and I quickly realized how much God was a part of our life. The first date we went on, we went to a restaurant downtown, and the first thing she said is, "Can I bless the food?" And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And needless to say, I started coming to GCC because that's where she came. And I worked on campus too. I do security here, and I never knew there was a church here prior to meeting Enyo. But what kept me coming back to GCC was that the focus was 100% on God and Jesus. Heavy praying. I just found it to be so comforting. After about a year of attending GCC, I finally let my guard down and began to put my faith back in God. I was happy with where I was at in life, in pursuit of a new career and dating an awesome woman. At the Easter service of 2012, I can really truly say that I felt the presence of God. The feeling was so physical and apparent that Enyo looked at me and said, "You look very tired." But the feeling was the exact opposite. It was a feeling of hope, strength, pressure, and curiosity. The presence was undeniable. After this, the two questions I always had no longer hindered me, and I always felt myself engaging more in conversations about God and Jesus and sharing more, especially with coworkers. I began to live my life with more of a purpose. I used to be very materialistic and self-centered. I was an avid sneaker collector. I had a lot. I'm probably down to about 30, 35, I think. Yeah. I could tell you more about sneakers than a lot of people in my family. It was bad. But now I have a new focus. It's true. I have a new focus now, and it's no longer on materialistic things, but the grace of God. This one verse I stumbled upon while doing a project, but it stuck with me. Proverbs 22, verse 6, "Start children off on the right way they should go, and even when they get old, they will never turn from it." Thank you.